It's me, your void. December. Technically, I have already finished a bunch of books by the time I start this video, but I am lazy and I will not repeat myself. So if you want to know about all of the stuff I started the month with and have finished at this point, you can go watch my 24-hour reading challenge video, which I will link in this corner? Question mark. And down in the description below. In that one, I read most of the books that were on my original December TBR. And I also posted a holiday monster smut vlog, which I will also link. I really hope it's this corner. And down in the description below, in which I read smutty holiday monster romances. I had opinion on those. A time was had, but because I already talked extensively about the books I read during those vlogs, in those vlogs, you have to go there to hear my thoughts about those. I can only tell you that I read, oh god, let's try and count all of the books I read from my memory, which is trash. So I read How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, The Boss Who Stole Christmas, I DNF'd Nick and Noel's Christmas playlist, I read Milked for the Holidays, I read The Grump's Pet, Frosted Hearts, there was another one, can't remember it, it was horrible, I don't know, I forgot, and Monster Pucker. So those all were all read by me. And because all of that was like a lot of what it was, which was Christmas romances and monster smut, I decided I needed something else. So, of course, I picked up a Christmas comic. I read Klaus. Klaus is a comic run. It's 7 issues, so it's like 1 volume, about a guy who becomes Santa Claus. This is basically the backstory of how Santa became Santa. And we're in the city, and the city is robbed of joy, quite literally. The new Baron is a dick, and he puts all of the men to work in like a coal mine that drives people insane. The children aren't allowed to have fun out on the streets. They are literally robbed of their toys. Like, the City Watch literally is tasked with collecting every toy they see to give it to the son of the Baron, who is a little brat and destroys all of them. He doesn't have any friends. And Klaus was, once upon a time, the city guard watchman, captain of the watch is the word I'm looking for. He was captain of the watch, but then he got framed with the murder of the previous Baron, and they exiled him. So now he's living out in the woods, living his best life with his best friend, Lily. Lily is a wolf. He saved her as a pup. He is amazing. She is amazing. I love both of them dearly. So they come back into town to sell some furs they got during a hunt, and they see what happened to this city, to this town. And Klaus is like, yeah, no, fuck that. It's Yuletide. Kids are supposed to have fun. This time is about bringing light into the darkness. So he gets high in the mountains, and some northern light spirits kind of possess him, and overnight he makes toys out of living wood. And he's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with all these toys? Well, I know a bunch of kids that don't have toys for Christmas. Well, Yuletide. So he packs them all up into a sack, climbs the city wall, and distributes all of the toys at night. And the next day, the city guard is losing their shit, the Baron is losing their shit. What do you mean children have toys and are allowed to play? Children, of course, are happy as fuck. So a little manhunt starts to hunt Klaus down while he just keeps on distributing joy and toys. And it's so cute. And then by the end, we figure out what the Baron is all about, and there is a love story there between Klaus and his childhood crush, and there is a cute little story. It's amazing.
I have to be a bit more quiet than usual because it is early in the morning and everyone else in this building is asleep. Everyone except me, because for some reason I turned into an early riser. I have no idea how that happened. But I finished another book, and it's over there on my shelf already. 1 second. I finally finished Mistletoe and Mishigas by M.A. Wardell. I started this at the end of my 24-hour readathon, and I read a chapter here and there, but I only finished it last night. Today's the 29th. It took me all month to get through this. Oops. But yeah, this is a good Christmas romance. If anyone is looking for a good queer Christmas romance, or it was highlighted in this book as well, a good Hanukkah romance, because apparently there are not a lot of Hanukkah romances out there. Go for it. It's very sweet. It's very sweet. I already broke down a bunch of my thoughts about this in the video of my 24-hour reading challenge, and not a lot has changed from that. So it's this romance story between Sheldon, a first grade teacher, and Theo, a custodian at that school where Theo is working. And at first they it's not enemies to lovers, it's opposites attract, kind of, because Sheldon is like this quirky RuPaul's Drag Race kind of gay guy with all of this energy, and he never shuts up. He's talking and talking and talking, and he's always very happy and very chipper. And then there's Theo, and Theo is just like a giant of a man who communicates like Geralt of Rivia in season 1 of the show, like mostly grunts and nods, and the inherent desire for everyone around him to shut the fuck up and leave him alone. So they clash because they exist in the same school and they have to help each other. And there is this kid in Sheldon's class, Brody. I love him dearly. He has a bit of a problem with just existing in a classroom. I'm pretty sure if Sheldon would ever talk to the parents, and if the parents would ever talk to a child psychiatrist or something, they would figure out that Brody might have autism. Just a thought there. Because Brody is always hiding under desks when there is like a bit more commotion going on. He's very shy, retreats, and he finds peace one day. He runs away and he finds peace when he runs into Theo, and Theo is just like, yeah, you like the quiet, I like the quiet, wanna hang out? And then they just hang out in his like little custodian closet office thing where it is quiet, where it is peaceful. And then Theo takes him and goes with him to clean the hallways, which is a very ordered thing to do, and no one is around, and Theo is giving him clear instructions on what to do and how to do it. Pretty sure Brody's on the autism spectrum, but that's not part of the story, because Brody is just a tool to get these two people together, because Sheldon has trouble knowing what to do with Brody, and Theo knows what to do with Brody. So they come up with a system where Brody can earn like points by behaving in class, and if he has enough points, he gets to spend his lunch break with Theo. So they are kind of forced to at least work together. And then there is the overarching plot, not overarching plot, but it's like the plot background, where Sheldon's ex is marrying on Christmas after dumping Sheldon on Christmas. And Sheldon wants to basically like show his ex the middle finger and go to the wedding, but instead of taking his twin sister like everyone is expecting him to, he wants to be like, haha, I'm actually seeing someone, just that he's not seeing anyone. And Theo's parents are very much set on getting their little boy hooked up, and they are threatening him with in this book it is called a yenta, but the book starts with a note. Where is it? It starts that the actual term for a Jewish matchmaker is a shatchan. I don't speak Yiddish, but after the 1971 film version of Fiddler on the Roof, in which a character named Yenta serves as a matchmaker, the word yenta became synonymous with the role of matchmaker. And in this book, we are using the term yenta, apparently. Anyway, Theo's parents are threatening him with calling a matchmaker, and he's like, oh god, please don't. So he needs a date for the first night of Hanukkah. So they make the deal, okay, Theo goes with Sheldon to the wedding as a fake boyfriend, and Sheldon goes with Theo to the Hanukkah dinner as a fake date. And then they practice to fool the ex and everyone at the wedding and the parents. You know where this is going. And they are very cute together. They're very cute together. But also at times it was kind of hard to imagine how they worked together. Because this is an opposites attract kind of thing, the opposites between these characters are highlighted, right? And at some points, I feel like they cave too early to something that they don't like without enough explanation around it, how they got used to it. Theo towards Sheldon, that's fine. Theo gets used to Sheldon talking all the time, and they figure that out, and Theo opens up and blah blah blah. I don't know what it is, but something about Sheldon. Sheldon gives in too quickly. And I don't mean that in a negative way, kind of. I mean that in a Sheldon gives in too quickly, and that makes me concerned for Sheldon in this relationship. Because Theo, despite being this calm giant who's not talking a lot, has some issues. Who doesn't? But Sheldon has this thing, and it is, I would actually call it a trauma response because of his parents. Sheldon is always this chipper and talks a lot because he's afraid that if he is silent, people will stop paying attention to him. And his parents kicked him out when he came out as gay, and that left a huge scar on him. So he doesn't want people to not pay attention to him. Theo is always very quiet, so there's not a lot of feedback for Sheldon, which often sends him in these talking spirals, which Theo then stops by actively paying attention and showing him he's paying attention. Okay, cool, that's cute, that's cute. The problem is, sometimes Sheldon, he says that very early on, Sheldon bends to fit the people around him. And sometimes I think he bends too quickly to Theo's issues. Sometimes he lets Theo get away with something without talking it out, without working through it together. And although we get a 7 months later epilogue, and I have a bonus epilogue that is 9 months after the ending of the book, even though they get it together, I think if they don't figure this out, that Sheldon bends all the time to Theo, this might not be a happy relationship. And I know that is nitpicky, but I spotted it everywhere in this book. So I'm scared that Sheldon gets his heart broken again. You know? Like, there's no abuse going on or anything. It's not malicious on Theo's end. It's just, I see it, and I'm concerned. But overall, the relationship is incredibly cute. The smut was strange. The smut was very strange. Like, we spent a lot of time on the initiation of it all, and then the actual thing. Just at times, I was completely flabbergasted because it felt like it didn't happen at all. But then they were done. And this is also one of those books where you have like half of it is them just being cute and you screaming at the book, just fucking kiss already. And then they bonk every other chapter. Okay, cool. I'm a huge fan of Kent. Kent is amazing. I love Kent. Kent is the dean of this elementary school they are working at, and he is the main character in the next book, Napkins and Other Distractions, and I already have that. And Kent, I thought he's going to be, because I saw the character art, and I thought he's going to be like this strict and very serious man. No, he's the biggest goofball, and I love that. I love that for him. Ooh, I can't wait for his story. Also, Janice, our diva, love her. She's the cat, and she hates everything except Sheldon, and then later on Theo, but she even hates the twin sister of Sheldon. Glorious. But yeah, if you're looking for a cute queer Christmas/Hanukkah romance, go for it. It's more leaning into Hanukkah than Christmas, which, fair, but both is present. Definitely both is present. Also, another character who thinks it's fun to be wedded at fucking Christmas? People have better things to do on Christmas.
Good morning. Again, I'm a bit quiet because everyone else is asleep. I don't have any other slots of time to film, given that it is the holidays and everyone in this household is dying except me. So it's extremely early. I literally just got up. This is my first coffee. I made my coffee and that's it. That's all I done today. But I finished another comic, and it was another Klaus comic.
Klaus!
I've thought the first story is so cool, and I didn't know what else to read, and I picked up another, let's say, volume. It's not a volume, this time it's an issue, it's just a 40-page thing,
and it's called Klaus and the Winter Witch, and it's like a Christmas special. Apparently, they, after publishing the original story, they published a Christmas special for every year. So this is the first Christmas special. I didn't like this one as much because I feel I'm missing a bunch of context. The first one was just the origin story of how Klaus became Santa Claus. And now we're like in the modern day and two kids are being kidnapped and he comes back to Earth after being trapped on the moon for a bunch of centuries. Because the moon, there was a civil war on the moon between the light people that gave him his powers, and he ended up in prison because he fought in that war. Don't ask me. There's not a lot, that's literally all we get in terms of information. But apparently he wasn't there for a couple of 100 years, and now he's back, and he happens to crash land in the apartment of a dad who dressed up as Santa to surprise his kids, and then the dad finds out that his kids are not there. They were kidnapped in the middle of the night. So Klaus, being Klaus, he's like, no, I'm getting your kids back. And he knocks the dad out because the dad cannot know about any of this. So he goes and tries to find the kids, and he finds the kids at his old workshop, which is now taken over by some of his elves, but they have switched sides and they are now working for the Witch of the Winter. So I guess this is an homage, a retelling of the Hans Christian Andersen children's book, where this ice queen is stealing away a boy and puts ice shards in his eyes to get him to finish a puzzle. That story. It's kind of that. And we meet Geppetto. Geppetto apparently worked for Klaus once upon a time and made living puppets and toys out of living wood. Klaus did. And not all of the elves are working for the Witch of the Winters. Some help the kids, some help Klaus. And we see this giant hall where he's walking through of different iterations of Santa Claus all throughout the world. So every version of Santa Claus is real, and he has like a statue of that in his Hall of Fame or something. And by the end they fight the Witch of the Winter, and then turns out the Witch of the Winter is just confused because she is winter, but she's also spring. But she's confused because of climate change. So she was like, everything is getting so warm, way too warm. I need to cool shit down. So she woke up too early and is trying to basically provoke another ice age because she is confused by all of the warmth. She's trying to help the planet but doesn't know how because she never did that. She never had to do that. And the kids were only kidnapped to get Santa Claus there. Why exactly she needed Santa Claus, I don't know. But the kids were used to lure him into his old workshop. And by the end, Klaus, because Klaus is not your typical action hero. Klaus is not the go in, make everything explode, go home, save it because the day is saved. He tries to fix the issue. He tries to fix the issue with compassion. He tries to fix the issue by just being nice to people. So instead of trying to fight and kill the Witch of the Winter, he is trying to shake her out of it. Like he knows the Witch of the Winter is not evil, that something has to have gone wrong while he was away. So instead of fighting her to the death, he's like, okay, the Witch of the Winter herself is cold because she is the winter. She is the cold. He tries to warm her up. Now, while warming her up, he sets the entire workshop on fire, but it works. It's a giant campfire. It's warm enough to thaw the heart of the Witch of the Winter, and she becomes this mistress of spring. And she's like, it's spring again. The flowers are blooming, and she's ready to go to bed, basically. Like, she's ready to let nature take over again. And I thought that was very beautiful. We save the kids, we bring them home to their father. The kids are now, Santa is real! And the dad is like, yeah, sure, I guess, because he forgot his encounter with Klaus. And I guess Klaus is now back from his moon prison. So yeah, it was a short one, meaning a bunch of context was missing, which I would have liked to have, but it was a Christmas special of this story, so I don't mind. It's like an extra short story. You know, I liked it, much like the first one. It's just that there were parts missing and parts were a bit rushed. So I'm still a fan, but not as much as I was from the original thing. And the last thing I finished, like the very last thing I finished this yesterday. I finished this yesterday on the 31st of December. I was determined to finish this. Is the Lavender Blade, which First of all, it's a NetGalley arc. Second of all, this is a book about a guy who is conning his way through life. Like, he's conning people to earn his money. And he's doing so by pretending he's an exorcist, because his mother was an exorcist. So in his little low-life community, people kind of trust him, so he's putting on a show and exorcises demons that aren't there. He doesn't even believe in demons. And one day, a rich guy shows up and is like, hey, I see what you can do, and I like what you can do, and I want to do it too, but I don't have the knowledge. But hear me out. We do it together, and we do it to the rich people, so we can earn a shit ton of money. So they do that, and the rich guy has this ulterior motive of basically scamming his way into high society. He came from high society, but he was kind of ousted because his dad didn't like the fact that he's gay, so of course we need to throw the boy away, right? And he wants to scam his way back into high society so he can save his sister from a very bad marriage. So they do exorcisms and they scam their way up, and because they have funds now and they have the clientele, they can put up ginormous shows, and one of them always acts as if he's possessed as part of this show, and it works out for them, and along the way they figure out they have feelings for each other, and then they are all gay and cute together, and then one day something goes horribly wrong and the rich guy gets actually possessed by a demon. And now the fake exorcist is trying to become a real exorcist to get that demon out and his boyfriend back. That's the story. That's the whole story. And the first half was done perfectly, where we meet the characters, where they are coming up with their own little scheme, where they're doing a bunch of exorcisms. That part was all well and done. There are a bunch of time skips in there, but they don't feel too brutal. And then you meet the second half. The second half is when the rich guy, gets actually possessed. Listen, I appreciate the fact that we have a demon that is actually doing evil things just for the fuck of it. Like, this demon is threatening the body, he's threatening the host, but he's also extremely brutal and volatile to the exorcist. When the exorcist doesn't yet know that it's a demon, he is trashing relationships. Like, in the body, the demon is, I'm pretty sure it is implied, it's not shown, but it is implied that the demon is taking advantage of the fact that the exorcist is in love with the body and do the thing. The R word. The body also, like, sexually gropes the sister once they meet her. So, like I appreciate that we have a demon that is actually doing bad shit. Here's the problem. Most of this is also skipped. This demon is running a whole political campaign, and we hear about it in 2 pages. The second half of this book feels so much as if it was rushed, as if we had to meet a deadline, as if someone was just making the outline pretty. But yeah, the second half felt completely rushed, as if someone had just hit the bullet points from the outline and made them sound pretty without actually writing the story. So that was a bit disappointing. The ending was also what's like a Hallmark cookie cutter ending where we had to hammer home the message of the book. It felt like the way Netflix is writing their original movies. You have to tell the viewer absolutely everything because they're probably not paying attention because they're on their phone. That kind of policy. That's how it felt at the end. I mean, it was cute. Again, it has this Hallmark aesthetic where it was just cute, cuddly, and cozy. But at the same time, it felt so rushed and so half-baked, which is sad, because this is another one of those stories where the potential is there. It's right there. It's literally on the page this time. And the first half was good. The story just needed room to breathe. Like, 100 more pages might have done it, maybe 2. Especially because it's a standalone. Like, you could have gone a bit more. Just a bit. Just a bit. So that was a bit sad, shitty. Pacing was strange. The first half was good. The second half, we ran out of time of writing this book, apparently. That was kind of meh. But with that, December's done. It's the 1st of January already. Happy New Year. And I will end this video here because there's no more December left. So, yeah. If you made it to the end of this video, leave a snowman emoji down in the comments below if you don't want to talk to me. If you want to talk to me, let me know how your December was. Let me know if you have any New Year's resolution when it comes to your reading. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.